hustle business. Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about during today's training. We're not just talking about getting a loan. We're going to talk about many different options that can work for you if you're interested you're interested in launching a side hustle. Maybe it is just that, a side hustle, something you're doing on the side. Or nowadays, we see more people making what used to be side hustles their primary business. But in order to do so, you have to have the money to kind of possibly step aside from your primary job to actually get into this and do this more. And today we're going to talk about how to get the money to actually launch and succeed in a side hustle business. So look, this isn't the easiest thing. The reason we're here right now is because a side hustle by definition is a business you're on the side, right? You're keeping your day job. So as a result of that, as you can imagine, a lot of lenders and private investors, these type of things, they don't want to necessarily lend money to side hustle businesses. Now, if you ever watch the show Shark Tank, we see this quite a bit on there, where what will happen is, one of the sharks will say, look, I don't have faith in you because you're not willing to go all in on this business, right? You're doing something else on the side. And the sharks like when somebody just drops, leaves their corporate job, leaves their security to actually come in and be able to go all in on their idea. It's the same thing with lenders' perspective as well. Somebody that's all in on a business is obviously more committed to making it work than somebody that's just doing things on the side, which is part of why it's hard. It's hard to be able to get the money you need for an actual side hustle. As a matter of fact, in a lot of cases, it's bootstrapped. It's money that you're getting from your primary job to even be able to pay for this. But now, what if you could? What if something a lot of people don't think about, you could get financing to actually invest into a side hustle? What if you could grow and expand without using the personal funds? If you could tap into business loans, business credit lines, business credit cards to be able to fund the side hustle, then all of a sudden, like I said, it might even remain a side hustle. It might even move into an idea for a primary business if you have the availability to do so, if you have the funds to be able to make it so. So what's the challenge? Well, first of all, you don't have a business to begin with. Most side hustles, the person's just working for somebody like Uber, for example, or Uber Eats, and they're not actually running it through as their own business. And I see a lot of real estate agents that make this exact same mistake as well, right? They're a real estate agent. They work for a real estate broker, but they never even set up their own entity, their own business, as they should. Because when they set themselves up as their own business, all of a sudden they can get all kinds of credit and financing. So it's one of the challenges here is that a lot of side hustles, they don't even have a business set up. And as a result of that, they don't have a business credit profile. They don't have a business credit score. They don't have the things that a lot of lenders and credit issuers would look at to determine if they should be get lent money or not. Okay. Also leads to reliance on personal credit and financial resources as a result, right? So somebody's trying to succeed in the side hustle. They're relying on the income from their primary job. They're relying on their personal credit cards. They're relying on their own money in their bank account, their own assets to even be able to do this. Well, the question is can this be avoided? Can you still have the privileges of being able to get loans, credit lines, business credit cards like other really established businesses have, even if you're just launching as a side hustle? Well, that's exactly what I'm about to show you. But before I do, please chime in. Tell me where you're coming in from. I always like to give you a shout out and say hello. DP says, thank you for the great information. DP, thanks for coming in. I appreciate that. And Fatimar, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Thank you very much for giving us some feedback as well. I always appreciate everybody coming in and saying hello. And when you do, as you'll see, I'll typically give you a shout out and throw your message up right on the screen. So there's a lot of options, actually, whether you know it or not. And there are options for getting around each one of these challenges. And again, what's nice is that we offer a lot of the resources available for you to do so. Paid, whether you're working with us direct to get faster, better results, or whether you use our free information, a lot of the resources we have can help you get this goal of getting the financing you need to be able to succeed with a side hustle, to ensure you can get the funds you need to be able to grow that side hustle and primarily probably quit your day-to-day job, which is what a lot of people ultimately create side hustles to want to do. So first of all, we talk about traditional loans. So they're hard to get. They're not impossible. They rely heavily on personal credit. So when we talk about traditional loans from banks, there's really two kinds. You can go to your bank and get a loan or a credit line that's not SBA. And then the banks also offer SBA insured loans as well. The problem with both of those is they're not the easiest to get. You usually have to be a little bit more established. They're not impossible, but they do rely on personal credit as well as revenue and other type of financing. So it is possible as you grow the side hustle, probably not the best place to start. Now, another place to dig into and start potentially is retirement plan financing. So with this, you can use a 401k or IRA, and you could borrow against and leverage that to be able to start the business. Now, this is basically based on a ROBS or a rollover strategy. So there's no tax penalty. There's no early withdrawal from taking money from the 401k. It's not a loan. As a matter of fact, you can even come in and get a loan or a credit line using this kind of rollover program. Okay. And again, the IRS calls this rollover for business startups or ROBS. So there are no penalties that you'll pay. The IRS even has a proven strategy for doing this because it is so popular. So many people do it. Now, according to the IRS, a ROBS qualified plan is basically a separate entity with its own set of requirements, and the plan owns the business. So if we look at this, if you have a 401k, you're ultimately investing money in other people's businesses, publicly owned companies, right? You have stock in publicly owned companies. But with this ROBS program, you're basically taking money away from investing into other publicly owned companies, and you're investing into your own business as well. So if you have a 401k or IRA, you could sit back and earn a return potentially based on other businesses growing, or you could take those funds, directly use those funds to grow your own business based on IRS tax-proven strategies and not have to pay any kind of fees or penalties from the IRS with actually doing so, okay? So a great strategy to be able to use, and it's not just 401ks, it's 401ks or IRAs you can use for this. Another nice thing is it doesn't have to be you. It actually can be somebody else's 401k, somebody else's IRA that you're relying on, not just your own. Okay, and here's why that's important. Because first of all, the most common kind of financing for partnerships, people that go into business together, is this. It's called retirement plan financing, 401k, IRA financing. This is the most popular type of funding used for partners to be able to start a business together. Okay, and oftentimes people are relying on 401k or IRA that's not even their own. They're relying on somebody else's to be able to fund their business because maybe mom, dad, family member, friend wants to invest in your business, and they have a 401k or IRA that you could tap into that could use for this purpose. But again, they don't want to take the money out of their personal accounts. Well, this is a great example for them to earn a rate of return by investing in you as well. So the nice thing about this is it doesn't even have to be from your business. Hello from Chicago, DP. Greensboro is in the house as well. Brandon is in the house here from Philadelphia. Thanks for coming in and saying hello. Vontae is here from Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, and Chris says, hello, Ty, watching for in Oklahoma. Thanks. I don't have a lot of Oklahoma coming in. And from New York, TB is in the house. Thanks for all you do, Edwin. Thanks very much for coming in. Chris Griffin says, I love the information you shared. I appreciate that. Edwin, again, thanks for coming in from Virginia. And Danielle, thanks for coming in from Lawrenceville. I really appreciate everybody coming in and saying hello. Envy, thanks you very much. Or Envoy, I'm not sure if Ebony, completely wrong on all accounts. Ebony, thank you very much for sharing this with other people. It really means a lot. And Mark says Roth. Yeah, you can do an IRA or a 401k with this program. Will it work with a thrift savings plan? This won't, but there is other kind of financing that absolutely will. Hello, D. Thanks for coming in. And Anthony, thanks for coming in and saying hello as well. And we've got Fairfax is in the house as well. So just giving a shout out to everybody. Thanks for everybody for coming in and saying hello. And if you're just getting here, please do the same. Please come in and say hello. So alternative lenders. Alternative lenders are also very feasible for this. So we called them fintech lenders. Oftentimes, and fintech lenders are basically online lenders. We look at places like On Deck. We look at places like Seed Capital, Seek Capital. These guys have any number of different kind of financing that could work, oftentimes based on just the fact that you have consistent cash flow. So you want to be able to set up a separate business for your side gig. You want to set up a separate entity. You want to get an EIN number for it. You want to get a business phone number, an email address, even set up just a basic blanket website for it as well. Now with that set up, now you can actually come in and be able to get a business bank account. And then just because you're running money from your side business and your side gig in that business bank account, that opens up funding from alternative lenders, including cash flow financing, where you can get money just based on your consistent cash flow as well. Now, a lot of other options from alternative lenders as well, but primarily you're going to be looking at cash flow financing or term loans. The difference is cash flow financing you can get just because you have consistent cash flow, and term loans you can get because you have better credit and consistent cash flow. Term loans usually require about 1 year of tax returns and 620 type credit scores. Cash flow financing, you can get regardless how good or bad your credit may be, and you don't need tax returns to get it. So cash flow financing is more expensive money, but it's fast, easy money in 72 hours, places like On Deck offer it. And then we also look at like term loans that are offered like places like NBC, National Business Capital, and NBC offers longer term loans, but you got to be a little bit more established to get those. Now, one of the best types of funding for a side gig is to come in and get credit line hybrid. With credit line hybrid, you get no doc financing, no bank statements, no tax returns, P&Ls, balance sheets, none of that. 0% rates for up to 18 months. You could take the cash out at 0%. So way better rates than you're going to get on most kind of loans. A lot of them report to the business credit reporting agency. So you're building business credit at exactly the same time that you're getting money. And you can get upwards of $50,000, $100,000, $150,000 for credit line hybrid. Now, maybe you don't have good credit. That's what's needed for this program. You don't need collateral. You don't need cash flow. You just need good personal credit. 680, 700 FICO score or higher. Maybe you don't have that. If you don't have that, then you can also come in instead and you're able to use somebody else's credit, what's called a credit partner, a CP. So you can use a credit partner, somebody else, a family member, friend, and use their credit to be able to qualify and be able to get up to $150,000 of credit line. The credit lines, a lot of them report to the business credit report, so it won't adversely affect the person that you're using their credit unless you actually default on the credit. Then it can. Okay, but the nice thing is that if you're paying the bills as agreed, then you're helping build business credit. And again, somebody else could potentially get a rate of return on what you're doing. Maybe that's the trade-off. Maybe I go to my buddy and I say, hey, here's the deal. I got this great business idea, this side gig I'm going to run and make it into a business. They say, I love that, but my time is all tied up through this regular job. I'm like, let me use your credit, and I'm going to get these credit lines to launch the business. And then I'll give you like 8% return. I'll give you 25% ownership of the business, whatever it may be. So a great way to tap into your credit or somebody else's credit with credit line hybrid to be able to get financing as well. Let's not forget about crowdfunding. So crowdfunding is where we have thousands of micro investors that invest money into a concept. So anybody that wants to donate or invest can. They don't have to be an accredited investor where they have high net worth or high cash on hand. They may donate $5, $10, $15, $100, $20, $50, $500. So you can easily come in through crowdfunding, tell people what you're doing through a site like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and then actually share it to your network. They share it. You can actually raise all the money you need through crowdfunding. And the nice thing about this is it's not based on interest. It doesn't have to be paid back. Ultimately, a lot of crowdfunding is then based on bonuses. So you're giving away an award. It's called award-based crowdfunding. You're giving an award when they donate. If they donate $100, they get X, whatever X may be, whatever reward you want to give them, depending on the side gig you're in, right? That side gig might have a bonus you can be able to carry over to somebody if they donate a certain amount of money. So crowdfunding is a great way, especially if you have a good social network to tap into to get money. And again, the nice thing here is that you give a gift, a bonus, an award to somebody, but you're able to raise a lot of money without actually having to take on any debt. So pretty nice way to go. Now, again, you also want to open up your side hustle for other financing options. So you want to ensure the side hustle always has the financing it needs when it needs it. And in order to do that, you got to do what I said. You got to build the fundability of the business, right? We got to make sure we have a real business set up. I don't care what you're doing. If you're experimenting with any kind of idea, you should at least start a business. Okay, I do. I have example, kind of an umbrella company that any new venture I'm interested in dabbling into, it's all done under that umbrella company. Now, if it takes off, then it ultimately becomes its own business. But I have this where I do a lot of different dabbling. So, for example, I rent my vehicles when I'm not using them. Well, I'm not going to create a separate business for that one thing. So I run it under my umbrella company. So there's all kinds of little side gigs I'm doing like that are run under one. But I would never do any kind of side gig if I don't have my own business entity set up. So you've got to set up the business. You've got to have a fundable foundation here, right? You got to have an EIN set up. You have to have an entity set up in the Secretary of State. You will need to preferably get incorporated or go with an LLC. You want to set up that business bank account. Places like On Deck and cash flow financing become available just because you have consistent money through your bank account. So I don't want to take money from a gig and then run it in my personal account. I want to run it through my business. It helps me with taxes that way to begin with. And the other nice thing is that that money going to the business bank account opens up all kinds of funding options. We want to take this newly established business when we want to go get a DUNS number with Dun & Bradstreet to start building business credit as well. We also want to come in and set up a website, set up an email address as well to give it everything it's needed to be credible. And thank you, for coming in and back again from North Carolina. Howdy, Brian from Colorado Springs. Thanks for saying hello. Charlene from Louisiana is in the house. And we also have Miyaka, I think is the name. She's sharing with other people. So I really appreciate that. If you're getting value, hit that like button, hit the love button, and make sure that you share. Okay, and we also have a message here from Timothy. Now, Timothy says, Houston, Texas is in the house. I'll definitely be joining the Business Builder program in the near future. I had a business for a year, but knowing what I know now, I definitely don't think I set it up right. Well, we can definitely help you with that. That's exactly what we do here at Credit Suites, help you get this done the right way. So thanks for coming in. And again, everybody, tell me where you're coming in from, like we just did here with Gerald out of New Mexico. I always love giving everybody a shout out, even though I sometimes might mispronounce your name. Excuse me there. Some of you don't have easy names like Ty. Ty's not even an easy name. Sometimes people get confused. It's so simple, TY. So don't forget, we can help you along the way. We don't charge you any money to get financing. So if you ever call us, and I'll give you our number at the end of this, and say, I want financing to launch a side hustle business, then we can talk to you about all the options that you can qualify for. We also have a great business credit building program that can help you along the way as well. But there's some options here I haven't even mentioned I want to. We talked about 401k and IRA. I also want to talk about securities-based financing. It's where we use stocks and bonds. We borrow as much as 90% of the value of the stocks and bonds. We have an interest rate of 5% or less, regardless of personal credit quality, and we get a credit line or a loan. So I can actually go to use my stocks and bonds or my dad's, for example. I can use family member, friend, anybody's, but I'll use my dad as an example. So if I go to my dad and said, I want to launch a side hustle business, Dad, and I need 10 grand to do so. Well, it's easy for my dad to my dad would have to sell his stocks to give me the 10 grand. But I could say, I could just use your stocks as collateral, leverage those, borrow against that, get a credit line using those as leverage. You still earn the interest in the stock market like you have. Okay. And I have a credit line with money working for me here. Now, what's nice about this is if I go to a friend that has $100,000 in stocks and bonds, they're earning interest in the market right now. But by giving me a credit line borrowing against part of that, I can actually get them a rate of return on this business now. So I might go to my buddy Dan, who I ended up just having lunch with before we started here, and I can say, hey, Dan, here's the deal, man. I know you're sitting on 100 grand in your stocks and bonds. You're earning interest. How's that going? He's like, yeah, the market's up and down. It's pretty good. I'm like, what if you could still keep it in the market, still earn interest? And then you could also borrow against that, get a credit line, help me launch this new business. Here's the idea. He's like, I love that idea, but I'm busy. I can't help. I'm like, well, I'll get you 5% ownership in the business, 10% ownership in the business. You'll get regular distributions from the business just because you leverage your stocks. Now Dan has money over here that he's making in the stock market, and those same stocks are being leveraged to make money over here and the new business venture. So stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs. We talked about cash flow financing. If you are accepting credit cards from your side gig, that opens up merchant cash advances. All you need is about $5,000 a month in total income coming through, and you can borrow against that and actually get a merchant cash advance if the money is being used through credit card processing. There's also something called Giggly, which I really enjoy. And this is more of gig financing, okay? But it's also a really, really, really cool way to go. Let me see here, gig financing. Okay, let me pull it up for you. But this is also, if you're doing a gig financing versus just maybe a side hustle, then Giggle financing, I call it Giggly. I think Giggle is another great way to go. So this is a place where you can get up to $5,000 for freelancers just because you're working in the gig economy. So maybe it's not a side hustle as a full-blown business. Maybe it's just an actual gig that you're doing. I love Giggle. I mean, $5,000 are really easy money using gig financing. So definitely a smart way to go there as well. And let's also not forget about any other assets that you may have. Maybe you have equipment you own free and clear. Maybe you have real estate you own free and clear. Commercial vehicles you own free and clear. Any of those kind of things can be leveraged to borrow against to get money to be able to launch a side hustle business. And let's definitely not forget about business credit. business credit's still another way that you can get money to launch a side hustle. You can come in, if you're doing business credit correctly, in about 60 days or less, you could have $10,000, $20,000 credit limits and higher. So I can get credit at places like Amazon, a Best Buy. I can get it at Apple, Dell, HP. I can get it from Sam's Club, Costco, Office Depot, Staples, Lowe's, Home Depot, every kind of fuel station that exists. I can get auto financing. Okay, I can also come in and I'm able to get Visa card, MasterCard financing, all without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check, with no collateral, with no cash flow. Any business can get it. So we set up the business credibly. Now we can start building business credit and use these kind of credit cards, this revolving credit, to be able to fund our side business. And it doesn't even matter the cash flow credit or collateral that we have. It's money that anybody can get. So a lot of extra bonus ways here that you're able to get the money you need to launch a side hustle business. So to recap, look, it's not easy to find a side hustle because you're not all in, and a lot of lenders don't want to lend there. So keep in mind that if we can help you along the way, we're here to do so. Whether you're working with us or not, you got to set up that business credible. You got to make sure you got your fundable foundation right. And then once you've done so and you've set up your business as a separate entity, and you have a business bank account, you're running money through it and these type of things, then it opens up all these kind of opportunities. Merchant cash advances we talked about today, cash flow financing. We talked about 401k, IRA financing. We talked about securities-based financing with stocks and bonds. We talked about using equipment, inventory, other kind of things that you might have that you could be served up as collateral. We even talked about the business credit as well as even a giggle when we talk about gig economy financing. So a lot of options you really do have. And don't forget that if we can ever help you along the way, give us a call. When you do call us for a free finance assessment, there's a few things that happen. The first thing that happens is we actually will come in and we will tell you all the funding you can qualify for right now. We'll also talk to you about fundability, what you need to improve, and how to set yourself up to get the most amount of money. If you think you have business credit, we'll get your business credit reports, review those with you, and we'll get them for you at no cost. Even if you do or don't have business credit, we'll give you tips and tactics to be able to build your business credit. And it all happens on an assessment with us. You can give us a call at 877-600-2487. If you got value from this, then make sure you visit creditsuite.com/toolbox and get our toolbox with about 5 tools that help you easily and quickly build business credit that's not linked to your personal credit. It's worth about $400. And we're giving these tools away just because you share our next live stream. So all you have to do is go right to creditsuite.com/toolbox. It's something brand new we just rolled out. Check it out, see all the goods that you get. And all you have to do is just follow the instructions right there, and you can actually get that free toolbox next time that we go live. So give us a call for that free finance assessment. And also, if you got value from this, make sure that you like and subscribe on whatever channel it is that you're watching right now, okay? And that being said, make sure you also go to creditsuite.com at the top right of our page and take a minute to like and subscribe on our other channels. We have daily tips on Facebook and Twitter. We have 1-minute videos on Insta and TikTok. We have hundreds or actually thousands of videos on YouTube. And we've got a podcast with over 500,000 downloads where you can listen on the go. It takes a minute or less to go and hit those channels, like and subscribe at the top right of our page. Jersey is in the house. We have Maryland in the house. We got people from North Carolina visiting us today. Everybody is coming in and saying hello, sharing. I really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for coming in, tuning in today. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Don't forget to give us a call for your free finance assessment, and we will do a fundability check, do a financing qualification, and get your business credit reports for free. Only place in the world you'll get D&B Equifax Experian reports at no cost. They're $250. We get them for you at no cost. Go over them with you. And that all happens by just giving us a call for a free finance assessment. So do that, and make sure you tune in for our next live stream where we talk about getting money and the easiest way to do so, and we talk about cool ways to be able to get the money you need.